Love new sponsors. Love when new sponsors join the show. Everyone is welcome. I'll tell you later on in the show if you got a business, if you're local, you don't have to be local, but if you got a business, you want to get aboard ZASLOW Show 2.0, I'll tell you a little bit about that coming up, all right? We'll do that a little bit later in the program. We got a lot of other important stuff to get to. Okay, so anyway, like I said, you could always hit me up at ZASLOW Show. The Panthers. So we've talked about the tournament. We're super pumped about the Hurricanes. Really excited as well for what FAU has got going on. We've never had this down here. You never had two of the teams that are local like this who've been in the tournament together, both in the Sweet 16. Very, very cool stuff. So I want to talk about the Panthers here. Now, you know, I've been dogging the Panthers all. I love the Panthers. That you can never doubt my allegiance to the Panthers. That's why I've been upset throughout the season. I love the Florida Panthers so much. I never miss a game. I mean, hell, Saturday night, they're playing New Jersey, and, we still went out to dinner, still did family stuff, went out to eat with my wife and my younger son, Jordan, and I'm recording the Panther game. I'm going to watch it late night when I get home. We got the Panthers. We got the tournament on the small TV. Actually, you also have the Heat Saturday night. We'll get to them coming up with our NBA rundown brought to us by Brunt Insurance. But I get home to watch the Panthers on Saturday night. The Panthers, and we'll get to the actual game in a second, are they doing it? Are the Panthers, are they doing it? Are they going to make this run for that final wild card spot? Because it looks like it might be happening. They are finally playing great hockey. They're starting to look closer to the team they were last year. Bobrovsky, fantastic again in net on Saturday night. He was terrible 2 nights before against Montreal, but luckily the Panthers decided we're going to score 9 goals. Don't worry about it, Bob. You're allowed to have an off night. Now, the Panthers have a back-to-back starting tonight. They're in Detroit tonight. They're in Philadelphia tomorrow. So Alex Lyon has been called up from the AHL team. He's going to likely be in between the pipes tonight. Bobrovsky can't play every game. He's been playing every game. Spencer Knight, I don't know what's going on with Spencer Knight. I know he's away from the team right now. I don't even want to get into it. Bobrovsky needs a night off. So Alex Lyon is likely going to be in the pipes tonight. Bobrovsky will be back in net tomorrow. They're playing a Detroit team tonight. Struggle City. Detroit. The Panthers can pretty much end Detroit's season tonight. We'll get to that coming up. But Saturday night, the Panthers and Devils are one of the best teams in the East. Panthers need the game. We're in a place now. You got to win all these home games, and you got to take care of business on the road too. And you're facing a tough New Jersey team here, and after dominating the first 20 minutes, the Panthers don't get any goals. The goalie for the Devils was standing on his head. He was great. In the second period, the Panthers give up 2 goals, including a shorthanded goal. That's a killer. So we go into the third period, which has been the case a lot. Recently, the Panthers are trailing by multiple goals in the third period. But like they've been doing recently, they are coming back from multiple goal deficits in the third period. Barkov on a rebound gets the Panthers on the board, makes it 2-1, and then now it's on.
Very good rebound bounce.
Here's Montour. He does shoot it towards the goal. They get it. They score! Traffic out in front. Montour got it through. And the comeback Cats are at it again.
Reinhart got a stick on it. That's what they were looking for. I talked about that before we dropped the puck here in the third period. Trying to get Reinhart activated. There's swept over Montour. And watch the stick there of Reinhart. He was in the perfect position. You'll see his stick, and no way Schmidt could stop that puck. Perfectly placed shot, deflection, and the Panthers have tied it up with a power play goal.
And look, there were a lot of Devil fans there, but what a crowd. Awesome crowd Saturday night at FLA Live Arena. Reinhart would tie it up there with his 25th goal of the season. Remember, Sam Reinhart he got off to such a shit start to the season. I don't think he scored his first goal of the year until like the 13th game. Look at him now. Look at you now. He's at his 25th goal of the season. Ties the game 2-2 about midway through the third period. And by the way, it came just like a minute after Barkov made it 2-1. So 2-2 now, and less than a minute later, the Panthers take the lead.
Just a minute 40 apart. Gudis, lead feed for Hagee's got it at the line. Verhage on the backhand in front for Tkachuk, he scores! Tkachuk catching! And they lead it 3-2! Can you believe it?
You knew it was coming.
I love Matthew Tkachuk, man. I love everything about him, and just you can sum up Matthew Tkachuk, what he means to this team, what he gives this team, and just how hard he plays where, and I know Goldie mentioned this on the broadcast, it was a beautiful goal. And 90% of Matthew Tkachuk's goals, that was his 32nd. What a home run trade that was. 90% of Tkachuk's goals are scored right in front of the net, like that one. Beautiful move, though. Right after he scores to take the lead, Tkachuk, so excited, he's screaming, he's yelling, he's jumping up, he's jumping on his teammates. They're celebrating there against the boards in the corner. That dude, it has been a home run trade. I love him, man. He is so much fun to watch. The energy he has, and of course, everything he brings to this team. I love that guy, man. And even after the game, I've been telling you now, the only positive, okay? I've been telling you the only positive, the Panthers, and how they're in the position they're in right now, is that every game feels like a playoff game. So every night, including that shit was awesome on Saturday nights. And so every game the Panthers are playing, you're so excited now that they're rolling and they're winning these games because the games are super important. I mean, how much fun was Saturday night? And the Panthers get that come from behind victory. That shit was awesome. I love it. But then you take Tkachuk, all right, and just look at his quote after the game, all right? This rink for us, when we get the momentum, we got to keep it as long as possible. We seem to thrive off it. We all love playing here. Momentum was big for us. The fans are great. They got loud in the third. And also, here's Sam Reinhart. This is actually the quote that I'm looking for from Sam Reinhart after the game. And this is what I've been talking about. This is the most fun time to play. The atmosphere tonight, you could sense it right from the start. The fans know what position we're in. We're enjoying the battle. It was nice to get that win on home ice. Now, you want to be in the position the Panthers were in last year, to be sure. Don't mince words here. But if the Panthers make the playoffs, the position they put themselves in could wind up being beneficial, because last year, with this many games left in the season, what are we talking right now? The Panthers have 13 games left. We're kind of waiting for the playoffs, right? We're trying to get there. And we all saw what happened. Now, I'm not saying that that's a direct result or a correlation. That's all I'm saying. But this team is going to, if they make the playoffs, they're going to have kicked it into that extra gear long before the playoffs started and playing playoff-type hockey that you hope it's going to wind up being beneficial for them. And it may. So here's where we're at. Tonight, the Panthers are in Detroit. They can essentially end Detroit. Detroit has 69 points. They're 9 back of Pittsburgh. They could end them tonight. The Panthers are the first team out of the wild card. The team right below the Panthers is the Capitals, who are 4 back of the Panthers, and the Panthers have 2 in hand. So the Panthers have really separated themselves from the pack. At one point, it was 7 teams fighting for 2 spots. It really now feels like it's 3 teams fighting for 2 spots. The Panthers, let's do it like this. The Islanders, 80 points. They have the first wildcard spot. The Penguins, 78 points. They've been struggling lately. They've lost 3 in a row. They have the second wildcard spot. And then the Panthers, 1 point back of Pittsburgh with 77. So the Panthers are 1 back of Pittsburgh, 3 back of the Islanders. But here's the thing. Panthers have the same amount of games played as Pittsburgh, and they're only 1 back. Okay. The Panthers are 3 back of the Islanders with 2 games in hand. So the Panthers have 4 potential points available there that the Islanders do not, and they're 3 back. And then you look at the first tiebreak. The Islanders have the first tiebreak, which is 31 regulation wins. The Panthers have 30. The Penguins have 25. So the Panthers are going to win that tiebreak with Pittsburgh. That's important. The Panthers are totally in this thing. I had them dead in the water. I got to raise my hand. You got to be fair. I got to be honest. I had them dead in the water. They are totally in this thing. Got to win tonight and tomorrow. These are teams that are under 500. The Red Wings are on life support. The Panthers can pull the plug tonight. And then you got the Flyers tomorrow, who are one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference. Tonight you got Alex Lyon in net. Panthers got to pick him up a little bit. Panthers haven't had anyone in net besides Sergei Bobrovsky in a long time. Now, Lyon did get some work. It's why they sent him to Charlotte. You didn't want him just on the bench doing nothing, and then all of a sudden he's got to make a bunch of big saves. He's gotten work in Charlotte. He's going to get work tonight, and the Panthers need him to come up big, but you also need to give him support. And then tomorrow will be Bobrovsky back in net against the Philadelphia Flyers. Need both these games. The week ahead for the Panthers, I just gave you the first two games, and then on Thursday, they are back home to take on Toronto. That's a monster game. Toronto's really good. That's why you got to win these next two games. You have to win tonight in Detroit, tomorrow in Philadelphia. No effing around, but I feel really good because the team's playing great, and I feel like their confidence is probably super high. What a weekend. Canes mixing a little FAU. Obviously, you got the Panthers there that I'm super pumped about. Before we get to the big letdown of the weekend, let me tell you about one of our other newest sponsors as well. That's Broward Meat and Fish. You know, we all have our favorite supermarket where we like to go. Well, that's because maybe you haven't been to Broward Meat and Fish just yet. This is my new one-stop shop. This is my new I get all my groceries now. This is my supermarket now, Broward Meat and Fish. Newest location, grand opening was in Margate a couple weeks ago. I got one right here in Pembroke Pines. Go to browardmeatandfish.com. Find the location nearest to you. But let me tell you a little bit more about Broward Meat and Fish. We're not just talking about meat and fish. It's the best selection of meat and fish I've ever seen in a supermarket. We all want the best quality when we're prepping that next meal, and that's why I choose Broward Meat and Fish now, and that's why I'm telling you about them. The freshest meat, seafood, produce, you're doing a full cart. Complete selection of groceries, frozen foods, freshly prepared hot foods, deli meats, wines, cheeses. You know what I'm talking about. Hey, don't forget, you're looking for that Johnny Cuba picante hot sauce made with the finest Jamaican peppers? Broward Meat and Fish. People ask me, Zaslow, that hot sauce you're telling us about, where do you get it? Johnny Cuba. Yeah, Broward Meat and Fish. They got it on their shelves right there. Plus, you're going to get your meat, your fish prepped, prepared exactly the way that you want it when you see their butchers, their fishmongers. Full service meat and seafood counter. You get the perfect cut, the freshest flavor and quality. And Broward Meat and Fish, my favorite part. Been serving the South Florida community for over 30 years now. So they know what we're about down here. And that's why their shelves, it's one of a kind. Stocked with all kinds of international brands reminding us of where we come from, you know? It could be Jamaica, Haiti, Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, Argentina, Peru. You're getting that flavor you'll love that you grew up with at Broward Meat and Fish. BrowardMeatandFish.com. Find the location nearest you. And of course, you get that 6-pack of Johnny Cuba, official beer of ZASLOW Show 2.0. You guys know that. A refreshing German lager in a can. European roots with a Caribbean soul. Broward Meat and Fish. Sedanos, Presidente, Winn-Dixie, Fresco y Mas. That's right. Remember, always got to drink responsibly. I love when you guys are trying Johnny Cuba for the first time and you send me a picture or you send me a little video on Instagram. I'll post it on my stories like, Zaslow, I never knew Johnny Cuba was so delicious. I'm like, well, I mean, I've been telling you about my guy Juan and what he's got going on there with Johnny Cuba. It's about time you figure it out. And I'll post it on my Instagram. I'll leave out that commentary I just gave you, but I'll post it on my Instagram. And there you go. Johnny Cuba, don't ever forget their mantra. Stay tranquilo. All right. So, last night, by the way, World Baseball Classic, you had USA, they beat Cuba. And today, you got Mexico and Japan in the other semifinal tonight. I told you a little bit about this last week, and now it's become it's become like a thing online, right? Where you got the crowds, you got everyone who's super excited, you got the players who are super excited. A lot of people got upset last week when Edwin Diaz got hurt. It sucks. I mean, it's always F the Mets, but yeah, I like Edwin Diaz. And the Timmy Trumpets, that whole kind of deal, it gets me fired up. And so now the whole thing is, it looks like it matters. Because you got people shouting how this tournament, this event, this doesn't matter. Why are we letting the players play? But the players are so excited. And you look at the crowds we're getting there at Lone Depot Park. Just incredible patriotism by all the countries, even the USA too. But I told you about this, where me personally, I'm not into the WBC. It's not for me. I'm not. I got the tournament going on right now. I got the Panthers. I got the Heat. We'll get to them. I got other things. I'm living my life, and it doesn't include the WBC. But that's okay. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the World Baseball Classic doesn't matter, because it does come off as very. It's like. It's a very American thing to say. Oh my God. How about that sneeze? So, if you're watching on youtube.com/@ZASLOW Show. That sneeze, it was a delayed sneeze. All right, anyway. It's a very American thing to say that this doesn't matter. Because our patriotism, our sense of patriotic pride, for whatever reason, it's just different from these other countries, especially the Latin countries. But it's just different. So you're not going to catch any of these other countries, especially the Latin ones, talking about how this stuff doesn't matter. And even the players, you see how much it matters to them. It's a very American sentiment to say this thing doesn't matter. I'll tell you that I don't care about it. It's not for me. I'm not into it. But I'm not going to tell you that it doesn't matter. It comes off very ugly American. And now it's this whole thing online, right? They show the big highlights, and you get the commentary. Looks like it matters. I mean, yeah, like it matters to a lot of these people. It just seems that there's a certain percentage of Americans who it doesn't matter to. So it doesn't matter to me. But I'm definitely not sitting here and telling you in general that it doesn't matter. No, it certainly looks like it does. All right, so super happy about the Panthers and the Hurricanes from over the weekend. The Heat had a really weird weekend. And that brings us to our weekend NBA rundown. That's right. Every Monday, we recap what took place in the NBA, especially this time of the year, and obviously leading into the playoffs. We got to keep track of the NBA standings, the big stories. No league brings the drama like the NBA does. And our weekend NBA recap is always brought to us by Brunt Insurance. From Pensacola to the Keys and beyond, Brunt Insurance and Financial Services delivers comprehensive insurance and financial solutions tailored to your needs. BruntInsurance.com. Make sure that your home is covered. If there's a disaster and something happens to your home and you don't have insurance, I don't even want to think about what happens. It'll keep you up at night. But when you call Brunt Insurance at 954-589-2204, you're going to sleep like a baby. Now, the market's confusing. You can't just go onto the Google machine and say, give me insurance. No. You call Greg Brunt at Brunt Insurance, 954-589-2204. Him and his team, they're going to sort it all out for you. Fully licensed staff. And like I told you, Pensacola to the Keys and beyond, they know whatever area you are calling about. So if you're looking for affordable care offering the best coverage for not just your home, your automobile, your motorcycle, maybe your boat, you're making the right call. 954-589-2204. They're going to beat the other price out there. They're going to find the insurance that's best for you. BruntInsurance.com, 954-589-2204. He's got our NBA rundown for us. Let's start out with Friday. There were a couple things Friday night we need to get over. Make sure that we're keeping up with what's going on in the standings as far as the Heat go. We know the Heat, they're trying to get out of the play-in. I don't believe the play-in is so bad if you're the number 7 seed, which is what the Heat currently are. But let's keep up with what's going on right above them and below them. The Atlanta Hawks got a win on Friday night over the Warriors, 127-119. So the Hawks keeping pace right below the Heat on Friday night. The Warriors, they're a despicable road team. Look at this. The Warriors, okay, they're 500 right now. They're 29-7 at home. Awesome home record. They're 7-29 on the road. They're a despicable road team. The Mavericks on Friday night. So how about this? Kyrie Irving put out like a statement of some sort the day before. How, and it made it sound how like his knee, there's a problem right now, or maybe it's his foot, and it's just not healing as fast as he thought. We got to be careful. We got to make sure that everything is right. He hasn't played in like a couple of weeks. It comes right on the heels of him putting out a video that he's not a cancer. It also comes on the heels of Luka being hurt. Kyrie, who's going to be a free agent, doesn't have a contract. He senses that people are going to be blaming him for the Mavericks' troubles because it's been a disaster since he's got there. So now he can't play anymore either because his foot is hurt. And then he tells us on Thursday how it's not healing the way it's supposed to. This is the biggest phony in the NBA. Because then you get the report how the Lakers may not be so interested in Kyrie Irving in the offseason. Oh, what's the Mavericks' next game? And Kyrie just said that his foot isn't healing the way it would like to? Oh, it's the Lakers. Yep, Kyrie's got to play. So Kyrie plays now the next night because it's the Lakers. And he's got to show them, no, you do want me next year, and I do want all my money because that's the only thing that matters to me is my money. This is the biggest liar, hypocrite, phony in the NBA, Kyrie Irving. And he had a fantastic game on Friday night because he's not hurt. He could totally play. But he doesn't want to get blamed for Maverick losses. But here, he had to show the Lakers, no, you do want me. You want me. Even though just yesterday I made it sound like I'm not going to be back this year. No, I can play. And so the Mavericks had the ball down by 2 late.
They're into their action. Got to get it in. Lakers, they find Kyrie. Irving with the basketball, with 3, with 2. Irving, they're going to get a shot away. Kleba wins the game.
Maxi Kleba at the buzzer. That's a very difficult loss to the Lakers. A brutal sequence to close there from Anthony Davis. So there you have it. We move on to Saturday. The Knicks, really good win over the Denver Nuggets.
Brunson driving in the front court. Brunson throws it up. Robinson throws it down. 6-point lead with 24 seconds remaining. Timeout Denver.
We aren't going to catch the Knicks. The Knicks right now, they're number 5 in the East. They're 42-30. They're 4 games ahead of the Heat. The Knicks are good. What do you want me to say? Memphis, again, Warriors on the road. They're a despicable road team. Memphis beat the Warriors by double figures. You got Dylan Brooks talking shit. You got Klay Thompson flashing the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. These teams hate each other. Dylan Brooks also, we know, is a piece of shit. He pushed the cameraman. What was it, Thursday night here at Miami-Dade Arena? The cameraman's apparently hurt. Dylan Brooks was fined $35,000. And Dylan Brooks he could say all he wants that he didn't mean to do it. We all have eyeballs. Dylan Brooks, his fall was already stopped. And then he pushes the cameraman to the ground. He even looks at the cameraman and then just keeps walking away. Like he's not a human being, the cameraman. He's a peasant who's around an NBA game. As Dylan Brooks is very unlikable. It's gross behavior. It really is. Utah, a really good win over the Boston Celtics. The Celtics down by 1, last play of the game.
A road trip full of drama. Latest chapter about to unfold. Grant Williams blocked at the rim. And it's over.
Yeah, Boston, not where they want to be. Boston, after spending the whole year in first place, is now 3rd in the East. 49-23 percentage points behind the Philadelphia 76ers. 3rd. So they could, right now it looks like Brooklyn could be the Heat in the first round. Man, I'm telling you, the Heat will put a scare into them. So that closes out Saturday night before we get to the Heat. So the Heat lose to the Bulls Saturday night, 113-99. Butler was very good. Bam had 23, Butler 24. Max Strus 20 off the bench. The Heat were down by 27. 27 points they were down at the Bulls. The Bulls suck. The Bulls right now are 10th in the East. The Heat cut it to 393-90 with about 6 minutes left in the game. It's as close as they got. You can't trail the Bulls by 27. And we talked about this before the weekend started. If the Heat are going to catch Brooklyn, it has to start this weekend. Because the Heat's next 2 games, super winnable. At Chicago, at Detroit, while the Brooklyn Nets' next 2 games were Denver and Cleveland. And then you play the Nets at the end of next week. Now, this week. You have to win those 2 games, and you're hoping for Brooklyn to lose those 2 games. And the Heat blew it. So, I don't even care what the Heat did yesterday, because that's a stupid Detroit team. Down 27 against Chicago. The Heat had that's an annoying weekend. I'm sorry. Sunday, Denver beats Brooklyn, so you get what you needed there, which makes it all the more frustrating because, of course, the Heat beat the Pistons last night, 112-100. Another stupid performance from the Heat. Butler was very good. Look, we got playoff Jimmy. Playoff Jimmy's here. 26 points, 10 assists. Bam had 22 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Hero had 19, including 13 in the fourth quarter. A fourth quarter that the Heat needed to outscore the Pistons 38-19 to beat one of the worst teams in the league. This weekend was stupid for the Heat. The Heat are just not very good on the road right now. But that just goes to my frustration where, all right, the Heat split the 2 games that they had to have. Brooklyn now lost to Denver, and they got Cleveland coming up in a couple nights. So if the Heat would have won on Saturday night in Chicago like they needed to, they'd be 1 back of Brooklyn. 1 back of number 6 Brooklyn when Brooklyn has Cleveland coming up in a couple days. So that could have potentially put the Heat in a spot where when you face the Nets next, it could be for the number 6 seed. The Heat play the Nets on Saturday nights. They blew it. Now, that chance may still present itself, but that previous scenario, like the Heat blew it, and that's why that was annoying. Oklahoma City beat Phoenix yesterday. San Antonio beat Atlanta. We like that because Atlanta's behind the Heat. And like I told you, I don't think the Heat beating the play-in so bad as long as they're number 7. The Lakers, they beat Orlando last night. The Lakers, if you're interested in that, they're 2 games under 500. They're hanging on to number 10 in the Western Conference. I hope the Lakers get into the play-in. Hell, I hope they get into the playoffs. It is more interesting. Let's see if LeBron returns, that whole deal. So I'd like them to get in. But here's where we are now. So the Heat, 2 back of Brooklyn in the loss column. The Heat are sitting at number 7, 2 up on Atlanta in the loss column with 9 games to play. So they're in pretty good shape holding on to number 7. They could still catch Brooklyn at number 6, but they blew a major opportunity this weekend. So I'm very annoyed with the Heat. I'm annoyed with the Heat right now. Next up for the Heat is Wednesday night. Huge week for the Heat. Wednesday night against the Knicks, and then Saturday night against Brooklyn. So 2 very important games for your favorite little basketball team coming up.